Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's round one SMZ3 match between ninjembro and Locklen, in what should be a very entertaining match between two very fine players. This opening round match. I'm Pro A007, very happy to be joining you here as always, and on the mic with me tonight is Chad Ralm. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it definitely should be a good match. Both these runners were able to make it out of the group stage into the brackets. So, obviously, they're both very capable runners.
Mm-hmm. Ninjembro is the Group G winner. He scored a very close win in the finals over Ivan, which I actually did comms for, and that was a very, very close match with go mode 2 seconds apart, and Ninjembro pulling out a win of just under a minute. So he's clearly got the chops to play at a high level. Locklen, I have not seen yet, but he was the runner-up in Group M, playing in a very tough group. I might add, with Stryzer being the winner of that group. So he had his work cut out for him.
Yeah, so I'm assuming we'll definitely see a good race here today. What do you think will be? I mean, the one location we always wonder, where's Morph going to end up being today?
That's a good question. And how long is it going to take for our runners to find it? Depending on how this breaks, our runners could be spending a very long time in A Link to the Past. Most of the matches I've seen have been fairly A Link to the Past heavy, so we'll see if this trend continues. I'm going to say Paradox Cave.
Paradox Cave. Huh? All right. Oh, it looks like our runners are getting started. And most likely, both runners will immediately head down and head into A Link to the Past. In normal logic settings, there's only one item that is in logic, and that is the Morph pedestal item. So runners usually choose to put that off for later.
I have seen a fair amount of runners actually roll the dice on this and take their chances. And it actually has paid off a couple of times, so it's not without precedent. But today, both players are just going to go on to A Link to the Past, and we get a look at the Lake Hylia Island, and it is super missiles. Probably not going for that.
Yeah, just finding a piece of heart in Link's house. And both runners choosing to head up to the uncle.
And they're both going to go for a tree pull item here. See what they can get. It looks like just magic.
Yeah, since I think both of them ended up taking some damage, so that would be the tier 2 tree pull. And just missiles on the uncle, but let's see what's in his chest.
You put it that way.
All right, just 20 rupees there.
All right, so nothing much in the early going. We'll see if Sank and the route to Kakariko. Well, that's not insignificant. The ice beam in Sank.
That's a nice thing to find. Early on, that can be problematic just because it makes some enemies actually more difficult to kill. But come the end of the game, it's very nice to have Ice Beam going into Turian.
And depending on how this goes, they might be asked to do some interesting routing if they get to Death Mountain at some point.
Yeah, because that Ice Beam would put Alpha Power Bombs in logic if they have access to Upper Norfair.
So a nice bit of money there for ninjembro. Just $20 in lumberjack, unfortunately. So AGA requirement looking fairly dim right now.
Yeah, at least I'm sure the runners are hoping that they're not required to do AGA in order to access the Dark World.
Mm-hmm. So, crystals were at Tower of Hera and Desert, and I believe Tower of Hera was a red crystal, so that's interesting. And then I think it was a red pendant in Eastern.
And we find the Spazer in Lost Woods. So now we're already up to 2 beams.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising. And Jembro saying no thank you to $20.
I find that a little surprising just because we still have Bottle Vendor, Kiki, a lot of other locations, potentially even Zora.
Yeah, there's about 800 rupees that are likely going to be parted with throughout this run.
True, though the 300 rupees will turn up multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not too big a deal, but...
Yeah. Ninjembro going straight for the bombs. Looks like Locklen's doing the same.
Yeah, it makes sense. They didn't find any bombs along the way, and they certainly have the money for it.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, screw attack. Well, that opens up a couple of things in Super Metroid.
Yep, that will get us through the bombable wall in Parlor, giving us access to 2 items in Pink Brinstar, as well as to the old Mother Brain item.
There's the morph ball. Wow.
Well, nice and early morph this seed.
Boy, this seed is really screaming early Super Metroid. It'll be interesting to see how long it is before the runners decide, you know what, let's do this. Bottle vendor is selling Sanctuary Love, so that's always good to know.
And both runners are going to be checking the well at the same time. E-Tank.
2 E-Tanks already.
And there's the bombs that they needed earlier.
Well.
Supers, missiles, and another E-Tank. Not a whole lot, but since they already have access to Super Metroid, they probably aren't going to be upset to have some ammo for it either. Well, I think we still need power bombs.
Still need power bombs, yeah, but we got 3 E-Tanks right off the bat here. So they're doing all right, and screw attack is gonna make things pretty easy for them. Chat saying, go do Super Metroid already, according to this seed. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I would personally wait till I had at least 5 power bombs, just because so I can access all the power bomb locked locations.
Yeah. So again, that line in The Simpsons, like there's liminal, subliminal, and superliminal, and this one is definitely going superliminal.
Because you don't want to have to skip all those checks and then have to come back later if you can help it.
No. It stands to reason they'll probably do Southern Island charge beam in the library. Wow.
Yeah, forget it. If we get boots early enough in the seed, I'm sure both runners will go for that. That's
even if it's late, they're gonna go for it. And that's one you don't want to pass up because it takes some of the ammo stuff out of the equation, particularly late. There's our power bombs.
All right, so now we can actually do a heck of a lot of stuff in Super Metroid. I imagine the runners will still continue to do some of these Spheres 1 checks here in Link to the Past, before they switch games, but
Sandris 316 is saying incoming boots on Ridley. The game would do that. I mean, let's be honest. Ridley has been the keeper of many, many, many great things. At least in the matches I've done.
and yet another E-tank. Yeah, this seed is really going heavy in on the Link or the Super Metroid items.
Yeah, they end up getting various suits at some point. You know, they could clean out 2 bosses pretty quick. Knock out Kraid and Fantoon without really having to break a sweat at this rate.
Because other than rupees, we found what, 1 pack of blueberries and the Saint cart?
Yeah, that's about it as far as A Link to the Past items go. It's been very heavy on the Super Metroid stuff in the first 10 minutes. Moldorm Cave.
Very well done there by ninjembro. And 2 more packs of power bombs. Oh, and blue mail.
And Jembro, I think, has seen enough. He's fine. He's like, okay, I can take a hint.
Yep, and he does reset to Super Metroid.
Yeah, so 4 E-tanks, 15 power bombs, 10 regular missiles, and 15 supers. So yeah, he's loaded for bear here.
Yeah, and he's going to turn on his spazer.
Yeah. So a lot of checks to do here early. Let's start with Bomb Terizo.
And meanwhile, Locklen is going to continue doing their Sphere 1 Zelda checks, heading up to the Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, see what Locklen decides to do after. Maybe take a dip into at least check Sarsaparilla and see if there's 3 chests there. Might be worth a look. But after that, yeah, probably Super Metroid after that.
Yeah, I without a better weapon than bombs, you wouldn't really want to go into escape.
No, right? You could, but you wouldn't really. You don't really want to, even if you're really proficient at it. It's just really long and slow.
Yeah. It looks like he is also going into Super Metroid.
Moon Pearl for ninjembro. That's a nice find.
Yeah, that's our first real progression item in Zelda. Looks like Locklen is going to head up to Gauntlet. It's not in logic, but it is something that runners, particularly at this level, can do fairly easily.
Yeah. Yeah, our top 48 runners in this tournament, almost all of them should be pretty proficient at it. Hard container for ninjembro at Terminator. So, a drug deal.
And just hearts in the back of Gauntlet.
So, that drug deal could be valuable. It's interesting so far. It's been a topsy-turvy. Link to the Past, Super Metroid. All the good Super Metroid items are in Zelda, and all the good Zelda items are in Super Metroid.
Yeah, that's seems to be quite curious so far that that's the way it's working out.
We'll see how long they go in this before temptation lures them back to
ninjembro doesn't quite get the mock ball. We'll have to reset the room.
Games just traded places, our tracker is suggesting. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Alright, because the mock ball is also not in logic, none of the items they find here are going to be logic, but so far it looks like it's nothing important, just E-tank and some supers.
Yeah.
And a shield. Also
So,
not terribly important.
no, I mean, having the fire shield makes a couple of spots a little easier, and notably, blind is a little easier, especially if you're hard up for health in Thieves Town. But in general, yeah.
Yeah, and even if for some reason you were forced, I guess shields can be nice if you were forced to do something like AGA 1, but it's not something you're going to care about particularly.
So Locklen have a little trouble with his mock ball, but gets a nice backup strat and is able to proceed. So on to the Edicoons. Hearts and tanks everywhere. Yes, indeed. This has been a very healthy seed.
But interestingly enough, while we have lots of items, none of them are really the movement items other than ice.
We're still, like, as it stands right now, they could take care of Kraid without really breaking a sweat, but outside of that, and they could probably get to Fantoon with good movement. No CWJ.
No logical access to wreck ship, but if they did know the CWJ, they definitely have the health for dealing with Fantoon at the moment.
So another E-tank, so that's 6 already, and we're only at the 15-minute mark, so makes you think, how long is it going to be before we get suit upgrades?
Well, so far we're not seeing any real progression for Link to the Past. I mean, the Moon Pearl is very useful, but on its own, it doesn't really do anything.
I think that was a Varia suit. He'll come back for that in a second. But right now, I'm going to take care of Spore Spawn Supers.
And just bombs.
Okay, gonna take a look, take a run at Wave Gate glitch. Let's see how first try for
first try.
Wow, very nicely done by Ninjembro. Locklen kind of following Ninjembro's steps here.
Yep, and there's those 300 rupees.
Not quite enough to pay off Zora just yet, but we're getting close.
Yeah, with the money that Ninjembro had gotten off the bush crabs, he is pretty close even after paying off the bottle vendor.
So, oh, the bow! Wow.
Well, that's very good to see early.
Yeah.
Though with Eastern being a pendant, it's a little less enticing than it might have been normally.
True. That said, still required to finish the game. 100%,
yes.
Regardless of how the crystals break. Because you needed to finish, you needed to get through GT.
Yeah, there's two dungeons that the bow blocks you from completing, so it's definitely something you want to find and not have to hunt around for.
So Ninjembro's kind of taking the back door to Retro Bryn, finds the bug catching net at Morph Ball.
Yeah. Well, I guess so. If either runner had come down to start, they wouldn't have been terribly well rewarded for it. Bug catching net is more of a fun thing to have than any sort of essential item.
Yeah.
It allows you to catch fairies, but ooh,
Whoa,
silvers.
jeez. This seed, I tell you.
Already have the bow and the silvers.
That's going to make some boss fights go very quickly.
Oh, not quite getting the spin through the block.
20 minutes in, we are well on our way to this seed being a dead sprint.
Which is, oh, and the lamp. There we go. Eastern Palace is now fully in logic.
Yeah, and that also once they find the power glove, that makes a lot. Actually, never mind. They don't need the power glove. When they go to Norfair, then go go save the old man. That's in logic.
Yep. Yeah, old man is in logic at the moment.
And back of and the escape route is also pretty much in play now at Hyrule.
Yep, because they have logical way through Dark Cross. So unless the key's in the back and they choose not to steal the key, they can full clear the escape. And last item here in the Brinstar Loop is just 20 rupees. Well, other than climb supers, which they can't actually get right now. Looks like Ninjembro is going to check the item, though.
Ugh. That room gives me such a headache.
And it is just 20 rupees. So that means that we have now checked everything in the loop between the two runners.
Yeah. And remark on chat. Yeah, you need you need a sword to actually fight Aghanim. You also need a sword to get to Mothula in Skull Woods. And you need you need at least 2 swords to actually finish this game. So what Ninjembro decides to do from here, probably Gauntlet would be my guess.
That would make sense. Just go up, check the item.
And he actually would go for it, I think. He's got to first make a pit stop. He's only got 2 power bombs.
Probably might choose to come back up, since he already knows it's just hearts at the back. May choose just come back out the front.
Yeah. Locklen had a little trouble getting up here.
But it looks like he is going to stay closer to being in logic and just head over towards. See if he goes to the wreck ship, or he. Yeah, it looks like he's going to try and go to the wreck ship right now.
At the very least, he'll check the item.
Looks like he's going to get those supers. And is he going to go? Okay, so he is leaving. Probably going to head down Red Tower. Do Kraid and then do what you mentioned earlier and go rescue the old man on Death Mountain.
He might feel inclined though to maybe hold off on that because he can do a lot of Upper Norfair checks. So he might feel inclined to at least take a look through that first and then maybe go to A Link to the Past, because right now he doesn't have a lot of progression in Link to the Past. There's high jump boots.
All right, well, that actually does make a difference, because before, the problem we had with Upper Norfair is that outside of Ice Beam and Crumble Shaft, you really didn't have a way of getting to many of the locations in Upper Norfair. But now with those high beam jumps, high jump boots, he can actually get through, through the cathedral route, Hell Run.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, Alpha Powers got power bombs.
All right, so vanilla power bombs at Alpha Peeps.
Locklen is also making a pit stop here at the 25-minute mark. Runners don't have a significant advantage over one another. They're largely following the same route at this point. The two key differences are really just a couple of checks Locklen has made versus ninjembro. Locklen has checked Ice Rod Cave, which I don't think he yielded anything. And he's checked Gauntlet, which yielded the magic mushroom.
Yeah, so the only real difference is that mushroom at the moment.
Right.
Varia was at charge missiles.
Ooh, ninjembro's gone through the floor here.
That is one problem with Screw Attack. There are platforms that Screw Attack will destroy, just like that.
Fortunately.
Just missiles at Spacer.
Yeah, and we know where Charge Beam is. We just need the boots to actually get them in the library. Because once they get that, that's gonna really open things. That's gonna make a lot of ammo checks basically irrelevant at that point.
Yeah, with already having Ice Beam and Spacer, and they're going to have a decent beam combination.
Mm-hmm. So ninjembro on his way to Kraid. Locklen's about a minute behind right now on that front, still working his way through Red Tower.
So I do agree that it makes sense to keep picking up some supers. You don't know when those boots are going to show up, and even then, if you don't have plasma, supers are still going to be a better damage output.
Yeah, we have Desert as a crystal, but it's not 100% guarantee that boots are actually required for that dungeon.
And you don't know when you're going to get it. You may have access to full clear Super Metroid before you end up with the boots, so you don't want to have to be counting on that for your boss.
Charges in the library. So a very quick fight from ninjembro on Kraid, who is not taking Kraid to prom. So 27:05, and we have our first boss on the board.
Yep, and just missiles again behind Kraid. We'll see what the other item he was guarding is.
Yeah, and the E-tank spot. Upper Norfair is in logic, yes. With the high jump boots, that puts a lot of, pretty much all of it into play, in some form or another.
And
That's two reserve tanks now.
yep, second reserve tank. Very healthy seed so far for Super Metroid.
Yeah, not terrible for Zelda. I think they're about 6 hearts right now, 6 or 7 hearts. They've picked up a couple of heart containers, and Locklen might be up one because he did Gauntlet.
Yeah, it shouldn't. And they have the blue mail as well, so it's they do have the reduced damage. The big problem is they just don't have a lot of progression beyond the lamp and the bow.
Right. Even that, yeah, they can do Eastern right now if they wanted, but it's a pendant, so that kind of negates the idea. Then again, 3 items at Sarsaparilla, 3 in Eastern, and we all know that the pendants love to hoard items, so wouldn't be the craziest idea. There's the hammer. Oh.
And Jembro, you're gonna have to come around for that one.
Yeah, that's going to be something he's definitely going to take the time to go around for.
Unfortunately, doesn't really have any way of getting there at the moment. But we know it's there now. We'll likely find something that will help us get there. You have high jump boots, you can do this.
29-17 for Locklen, so they're tied up at 1 apiece on bosses, but ninjembro with a bit of a lead right now just based on where they're at positionally. The one thing Locklen has that ninjembro doesn't is that magic mushroom, but we don't know if that's going to pay off just yet.
Failure to communicate, while they can technically, they can do Zora, it's not currently in logic because they do not have gloves or the flippers.
Right. Yeah, they can do the Zora skip, and actually can do pretty much everything except the ledge because they have moon pearls. So not a bad deal, but right now that is likely not the play.
Alright, ninjembro gets the wall jump up to Norfair Reserve.
Locklen went back to A Link to the Past and is going to save the old man and is going to see what item comes out of that. Oh, the plasma beam at Norfair Reserve.
Well, that's nice.
Jeez. He's probably thinking, well, please just give me the boots now.
Yeah, I think we will definitely see the runners going for the charge beam now with plasma in hand. Oh, and it is the flippers on the old man.
So that's a really good find for Locklen, and he can run wild with that one. Let's see where he's got enough to pay off Zora. Old man used to be a swimmer. Yes, he did.
Locklen's going to go up and check what's on Spectacle Rock, as well as what's in Spectacle Rock Cave. Just a heart container on Spectacle Rock.
Heart container up top. He might actually go for that,
Yeah, I can see skipping the heart pieces, but heart containers are really nice to have, and particularly when you just get the full heart off one item.
Looks like Locklen's gonna go make a run at Ice Beam here.
This is another out of logic check. And finds those boots.
Das boots. Oh boy. Okay. What's the catch here? This seat's got to be holding something back.
Well, maybe the speed booster. That's because after all, those boots are locked behind speed booster. And just a piece of heart at Grumble Shaft.
So I think Locklen's going to be spending a little bit of time, at least in A Link to the Past. Going to get that charge beam. Going to check Zora and see where the logic it takes him from there. Ninjembro might be not far behind in that respect.
That Ninjembro deciding not to go down to Croc, that would not be in logic at the moment, so it does make sense from a logic perspective to leave, but I know some runners might have attempted to do it anyway.
Especially when you got a hammer waiting for you at the end.
Well, but without a way of getting up to it, it would...
Yeah, that's true. It's like, I mean...
Well, it looks like Ninjembro is going to do the mock ball over to Ice Beam, and we'll get their own boots.
Yep, and Locklen still has some checks to do in Upper Norfair. Gonna probably get that plasma beam. Alright, so runners are going to pretty much end up right back where they started, relatively even. Ninjembro just a bit ahead right now just based on execution, but we've got a lot of game left to be played.
Oh, Ninjembro just missing the ice escape.
So
I assume we'll see Ninjembro do the same thing, rescuing the old man, getting their flippers, and then checking Spectacle Rock. And then we'll probably see, I would guess, him head over and collect his charge beam.
And check Bonk Rock's cave while he's at it. Get that out of the way. No bottles. They can't do Sick Kid just yet.
And after that, I think our choices are Eastern and that mushroom. The mushroom's out of logic, so Eastern would be the play then.
Ninjembro taking a death to the boulders, but that's not really a big deal. He saved the old man just in time.
Yep. Oh yes, that's a good point. It's brought up in chat. We do have the flippers checks, and ninjembro does have the money to do Zora.
Yeah. Interesting to see if he makes a detour to Ice Rock, because he actually skipped that.
Well, and with the flippers, he can even route that in fairly easily as well.
Tis a bit out of the way, though. It might give him some pause, but it is in play for sure.
Now, if he finds the mirror, he may put that off until he's headed towards in or out of the back door of Meridia, and just hoping it's nothing and so he can put that off. But
So thus far at the 40-minute mark, we've got a lot of pieces, but we don't really have, at least from Zelda's standpoint, we don't have a breakthrough just yet. We really can't make that forward progress. We're really, I think, looking at this point for speed booster so we can get that hammer.
yeah, or space jump.
Or space jump, yeah.
Which was still a space jump by itself wouldn't be logical access, but it would make it much easier to get.
Got a hard container on Zora Ledge, and we got a life lesson, or possibly actually something good from Zora for once. And the Bernie Madoff special once again for 500 rupees.
Yeah, that's even worse than the 1% return.
Yeah.
And it looks like both runners are simultaneously headed over to Eastern. Checking what Sasrahala has in his closet. And we'll see if they then go in actually dive Pendant Eastern or not.
I actually think you would. It's 3 items, you can do the whole thing, and if you play your cards right, maybe you don't even have to take the long way. Especially with the rather paltry offering they got there. Nobody talks to Sarsaparilla, though, to find out what the green pendant is. I mean, probably not that necessary because they're going to be in Dark World before too long, but... Yeah.
I usually will check it just so I have that information ahead of time. Usually so I can get disappointed that I once again have a green pendant thieves town.
Yeah. Maybe they're just trying to spare themselves that possible reality for the moment, which I totally understand.
With Eastern Palace being full clearable, both runners are going to do that dive. I imagine, however, if they find all 3 items before reaching Armos Knights, they probably will save and quit out rather than finish the dungeon.
Well, their chances of that have pretty much hit 0 at this point.
Yep, that is a guaranteed item on Armos Knights now.
So sorry guys, got to do the whole thing now. Flute on Knights, go. Well,
I'm not sure what the flute would actually do for them. That's not really add any progression, other
not
than
really.
give them more reason to head over and check bonk rocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that cross product.
So
And we
there's.
find our glove.
All right. So that opens up back of escape. In terms of like big item density. Ooh.
Yeah, I think that does really make sure that the whole escape sequence is now very. I mean, you can clear the whole thing. Everything is fully in logic for it.
Hmm. Yeah, that would be my next. Probably be my next move, especially since, again, looking for something to get that hammer, because that hammer is the key right now, because we know where it is. Ooh.
Yeah, that hammer is our Dark World access. We presumably we could still find the myth somewhere, but
That lack of a sword is actually becoming a bit of a problem right now for ninjembro. I had to kind of take the long way to get through this room.
thankfully with those silver arrows, still only takes one shot to kill all of the enemies, including the Armos Knights.
So just a piece of heart on the Armus Knights, but the power glove definitely worth the trip in here.
It looks like Ninjembro is going to the back of escape right
Makes
away.
sense. Makes sense. It's a quick 3 items.
And let's see what we find here. Heart container, missile pack, and arrow upgrade.
So that would suggest that Dark Cross room is likely a key then.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be checking the front of escape now. If we don't find the key in the first chest in the front, then we will know that the key is at Dark Cross.
Right. So Locklen is apparently going to check Bonk Rocks and probably the library, get the charge beam.
Okay, so it is a small key at Dark Cross then.
4 swords and hookshot cave. Yeah, the game would do that, wouldn't it? Oh, the magic powder.
That's another
Maybe
nice item to find.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe
that we
that's
can turn that mushroom in without worrying about needing to save it for fake powder later.
Right. It's like, speaking of that mushroom, like that might be Locklen's next move after grabbing the charge beam here.
And
There's the
there's the
speed booster.
Okay, so now we can go and get that hammer. So now we can go fast in both games. It's interesting that ninjembro is choosing to go to the library from the south.
Yeah, especially since he hasn't done bonk rocks yet, but whatever.
And looks like ninjembro is going to be heading back into Super Metroid.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely gonna get everything to get that. The hammer is the priority now, so he is 100% gonna do that, and actually, he's gonna have an easy go of it with proc because of plasma. That's gonna be a one-hit kill.
Yeah, that charge plasma combination is really nice. And if they can find the X-ray, even better.
Bro got a little ahead of himself there. So on to Crocomire.
I personally prefer to moonwalk with Croc, but ninjembro just slowly walking forward instead.
Down goes Croc.
Yes, Furbiotes. Locklen did check Ice Rod Cave.
Didn't amount to anything. And now, this is Locklen's one potential advantage here. Is the mushroom worth anything? No.
And just supers.
Fortunately, Gauntlet is a bust.
Ninjembro taking the save so they can just reset back out of grapple and Indiana Jones if it turns out to be nothing. Just 5 rupees. It looks like Locklen is actually going to be headed over towards Agina's cave.
Decision. We haven't not seen Agina yet. That's one of the few things we haven't seen from either player yet.
Oh, finds the
that's
book. That's
pretty.
conveniently placed.
Yeah, that actually makes desert fully clearable now.
Yeah, they have glove, lamp, book, and boots.
And there's the fire rod for Ninjembro, so this trip down here was definitely worth it.
Yeah, will not be resetting. Ninjembro, however, does not want the bomb upgrade.
So a nice little route divergence here has given both of our runners some opportunity here, though Ninjembro with more of a long-term play right now, thanks to the fire rod popping up, and he's going to get the hammer shortly. And still no sword. That is true. We are still short a sword. We were required to actually finish full clear desert. This is going to be tricky for Ninjembro.
Looks like Ninjembro is having to reset the room because they accidentally destroyed their platform that they wanted to use. Looks like they're going to try to use ice strats.
Piece of cake.
That was very well done.
So Ninjembro with a pretty sizable advantage right now. He's got Dark World access in his hands. And with Fire Rod, that's also going to open up a lot. The one thing he really needs now is a sword.
Yeah, without a sword, can't finish Skull Woods. Though with the hammer will make a lot of, can substitute as for the sword as just as a weapon. Looks like Ninjembro is going to pick up their powder, which with that hammer they can then use to immediately check the magic bat.
Yeah. Answer chat's question. Yeah, Locklen has seen Croc escape, but is currently opting for this approach, which actually isn't turning out so bad for him.
Yeah, Locklen did not do the front of escape, so did not get the speed booster.
Right. Ninjembro is actually going to check powder, check the magic bat, since he's got everything he needs for that. Yeah.
And just missiles on the bat.
Nice two-cycle fight for Locklen. Gets crystal number 1 at 5711. So in terms of bosses, actually leading 2-1 right now. But again, long-term advantage belongs to Ninjembro the longer Locklen stays away from escape. But it looks like that's exactly where Locklen is heading, so...
That's been a relatively linear seed so far, but now that we have access to Dark World. I'm imagining the scene's going to open up a bit.
Little bit.
All right, so we've got Green Pendant is Thieves Town. Swamp is the last pendant. And Skull Woods was the second 5/6
yeah.
crystal.
Right. So, yeah. So some interesting choices here for the runners. Can do Palace of Darkness right now if they want, if they wanted.
Yeah, Palace of Darkness is full clearable. I'm sure they will get there as they slowly loop their way around the Dark World.
Yeah, a lot of things to check right now. Missing Titan's myth, so can't do the full, and the mirror, so can't do the full run, but can do quite a bit.
Yep, they can go check here in Village of Outcasts. They can do Dig Game, Stumpy, Hype Cave. Oh, and there's our first bottle.
Yeah.
Inside the C-shaped house.
Looks like Ninjembro is going to make a dip into Thieves Town. Probably check the front at the very least. Locklen hasn't quite counted correctly, or Locklen's been to back of escape, I believe, so it might be a counting error on his part, but no matter.
No, it looks like I think he was setting up just in case it wasn't.
You're right. Item. You're right. So, big key and a compass so far for Ninjembro. There are 4 unique items in Thieves Town. 5 if you count the item from Sarsaparilla, since this is the Green Pendant Dungeon.
And we find red mail.
So just 1 item up front. Locklen's doing a criteria power bomb check. I don't think Ninjembro did this.
No,
no.
Ninjembro just went straight down to Crocomire to get the hammer.
Right. So half magic, again, not required to finish, but not unwelcome either.
No, we're getting some good safeties in this seed. Red mail, half magic, powder, silvers.
Yeah. So
we just need some swords.
Yeah, that swords are really the big stumbling block right now for our runners in Zelda. Locklen actually can now do biologic
wreck ship.
Wreck ship, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they are deciding to make the play to wreck ship. I don't necessarily know if this is a good play. Wreck ship is very hit and miss in terms of whether there's anything here. And, you know, there are a lot of checks, but it also tends to be a lot of garbage.
Well, yeah, and certainly you run the risk, but you can pretty much he can do pretty much everything. And he should be skilled, and I'm sure he's skilled enough to do everything. So this, I kind of like this, and it's another boss down, and that's never a bad thing.
Yeah, it just unfortunately that's going to put off that Dark World access for longer.
Yeah, that is true. Then again, we'll see what he can come up with here. Well, some power bombs, never a bad thing. Yeah, what it would really pay off for him right now is a sword. If a sword winds up being in wreck ship, this is where. Well, there's a hook shot in Thieves Town, so that is a huge find for Ninjembro.
Yeah, well, this is this green pendant Thieves Town is really paying off. Now we
Yeah,
get to watch some Hammer Blind.
So regardless of sword type or hammer or whatever offensive weapon, it's 9 hits to take out Blind the Thief. Meanwhile, Locklen is taking on Fantoon, everyone's favorite boss. A little laggy there, but ninjembro does take care of business.
Gets another pack of power bombs off of Blind, as well as the green pendant. And with that hook shot that they found inside Thieves Town, that now puts all of Light World Death Mountain into logic.
Yep. And Tower of Hera is also in play.
Yeah, and that is one of the 5-6 crystals, so they're definitely going to want to do that.
So, but in the meantime, see what kind of profit we can turn out of this digging. Well, that's a nice profit indeed.
Yeah, speaking of profits, that is definitely a profit.
Yeah. Down goes Fantoon for Locklen.
Locklen taking extending their lead in terms of actual needed progression, with ninjembro having only done 2 pendant bosses so far.
Right, but that green pendant Thieves Town paid off huge for ninjembro with hookshot. Yes, phase 1, do the digging game. Phase 2, phase 3, profit.
And gravity in Hype Cave.
Wow. Gravity alone made it worth it. The rest of it was junk, and well, that's not junk for Locklen. There's the Titansmith. Oh.
All right, wow. So we may see some. If Locklen decides not to go get that hammer, we can see some very big divergence happening.
Given that he knows where it is, it's hard to imagine he's going to pass it up for too long. And with everything else that he's got, that could put him in a pretty good spot here, but ninjembro, again, still probably holding the long-term advantage just based on where he has and hasn't been. And he's going to run the string out, no question, and he's going to come away with at least 1 more crystal. Probably 2, and probably another, because he's probably going to do Tower of Hera at some point. Yeah, that's the one thing we're missing at this point. So, where are those swords?
Yeah, at this point we need swords, we need Ice Rod, Cane Samaria, and logically we still need either the flute or space jump.
Yeah, and we need at least 1 medallion.
Yep.
Because Meyer and Turtle Rock are both crystals, so we definitely need at least 1, probably 2.
Yeah, mirror is not going to be logically required for this seed.
No, but it would make things a lot easier, that's for sure.
Oh, yes. The runners are still going to want to have it,
Oh, yes.
though maybe not before they're in go mode, because you don't really want to have Swamp Palace looming as a possibility.
No. It is a bit of a time sink, no question. There's just $20 there. Yeah, Chad is right. Mirror is logically preferred.
Yes.
So, check wreck ship reserve. Is there anything worth it here? No.
Just a piece of heart.
Another bottle. Oh,
and
the Canis Samaria. Wow. Locklen coming up big here in Wreck Ship.
Yeah, Wreck Ship was a good play in this particular seed.
Yeah. So things are getting interesting here. Both runners are holding key items the other needs. So this is gonna be an interesting it's gonna be interesting to see how all this all converges.
Interesting that ninjembro is choosing to do the dark maze right away.
Yeah. Chad asking how long until he gets to goes to get hammered though. That is the question for Locklen. For ninjembro, it's how long before wreck ship. And the answer for ninjembro is probably a little easier to ascertain. But then again, it could be a little while yet. Red.
And we get our fire shield inside the big chest of Palace of Darkness.
That'd be good for Locklen when he goes to face off against Blind. He can block all those fireballs. Wonder if Locklen will do Ridley then Croc. And
the red boomerang. Seems like Pod really hasn't had progression in it, just useful items.
Yeah. Still needs to be done, but yeah, it's not exactly the kind of gangbusters play you would kind of be hoping for.
Alright, we'll see where Locklen heads next.
Yeah, Noctis Vigil, 112 in and no sword. Yes, they've gotten everything but a sword right now, which is, I think, starting to become a little infuriating for our runners. You're like, what do I need to do?
Yeah, also missing the ice rod, also missing all 3 medallions.
That's what we're probably looking at for an end game at this point is an ice rod / whatever is needed to get into Turtle Rock.
Locklen gonna go up and get their 20 rupees from Climb Supers. Nope, they see the item and say, nope, I don't want that. Well, we have the book already.
Yeah, Book of Medor was at Agina. So that's 17 hammer strikes to break Helmsor King's
Logically,
mask.
we still need either space jump or flute, though with high jump boots, the grapple jump is pretty free.
One silver drops Helmsor King, so ninjembro, after a 45 plus minute drought between required bosses, is up, got it to 3-2 with Helmsor King going down.
Yep, and ninjembro now has his first crystal.
Looks like Locklen's going for Waterway.
I guess that makes some sense. Just get all these checks out of the way, and then you know you never need to come back for them.
Waterway has paid off pretty well in this tournament so far. Ninjembro is going to do the long, tortured route around to get to Hera and do some solve some paradoxes while he's at it.
And Locklen finds the cape.
We never saw a bumper cave, did we? Oh, the bombs for Ninjembro and Paradox.
And with that cape, that would put the bumper ledge in logic. That would also put Spike Cave in logic.
Yep. So bombs and paradoxes, well, not required, but certainly nice to have. Nothing on the floating island.
Yeah, just 20 rupees there. The dead rocks giving Ninjembro some trouble.
Yeah, well, what else is new? So, Locklen's been going all the way taking this kind of circuitous route back. I think he's going to do Croc at this point, but
yeah, I hope that's where he's headed, since he definitely at this point needs that hammer.
So we welcome all of our raiders from SpeedGaming 2 to this match between Ninjembro and Locklen. We've actually got an interesting match here for those of you just joining us. It's been a very generous seed with the items, but it's also particularly notable in what they are missing. Right now, that big one is our swords. They need swords. But apart from that, they've been richly rewarded.
Yeah, at this point, we are really just looking for ice rod, medallions, and swords.
Yeah. In terms of the boss count, Locklen leads 3-2. In terms of the long-term advantage, though, it probably is leaning towards Ninjembro right now, though that could quickly change as Locklen is heading towards Croc, which had two critical items for him: the Titan's Mitt and
You mean
the Fire Rod.
Hammer and Fire Rod.
And Hammer, but that's right, Hammer and And fire, and
Yep.
that's right, hammer and fire rods. So that's going to swing the momentum probably more towards Locklen, but ninjembro's about to get his second crystal, taking down Troll Dorm.
And getting to see two very easy Crocomire fights. And ninjembro now has their second crystal, and this one being one of the 5/6 crystals.
Yep, and has to go back into the basement to get item number 2. We'll see if it's actually worth anything.
And for those who just joined us from SpeedGaming 2, the other difference in terms of items is that Locklen went to Wreck Ship and got their Titan's Mitts and Kana Samari.
Correct, and ninjembro has been to Thieves Town and got the hook shots. So yeah, so both runners have been in critical places where the other has not, and it has created an interesting contrast. And the gravity suit, yes, gravity suit was at Hype Cave. So just a 5-arrow upgrade in at the basement of Hera. So unfortunately, does not have mirrors, so cannot just get out of here, and still has to go to Spiral Cave. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, both players have had two very different paths. That's exactly correct, and both have been rewarded with their different paths, which is nice to see.
Yeah, and unfortunately, since ninjembro has not been to Agina's cave, he does not have the book to check the ether tablet.
Right. And yeah, Locklen did go to Agina, got the Book of Medor, and then full cleared a full cleared desert. We'll see how Locklen does getting that hammer. That it could still be problematic for him. Ninjembro was able to do it successfully, but not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Yeah, and ninjembro reset. I agree with our tracker. This looks like this is going to be ninjembro checking the criteria, power bombs, and wreck ship themselves.
Yep. And get their half magic. That's never a bad thing. From there, after wreck ship, that's a good question.
Well, I mean, they can do Meridia, they can do Lower Norfair if they wanted to. It wouldn't be in logic, but again, the gravity jump is not that hard of a trick to do with high jump boots. Oh, it looks like they are actually going to do Gauntlet as well. Going to get their mushroom.
Yep, Locklen gets the hammer, so that is very good for Locklen. That's going to allow him to do some major progression in A Link to the Past. Yeah, correct. Ninjembro did not check Gauntlet. Locklen did very early, and that unfortunately that mushroom did not amount to anything, but where's that sword? Sheesh. 90 minutes and we don't have a sword. Although Locklen has the added advantage of now when he goes to Dark World, he can check a few things Ninjembro could not. Smithy, the hammer pegs, couple of so one of those could be critical, and actually we're getting our first sick kid check as well. We did not get sick kid.
Yeah, they have not been to Kakariko since they got their bottles.
Yeah,
Just a reserve tank.
That's our third reserve tank. No wonder he is sick. Yeah. Oh, Ninja.
Locklen doing their map check for the Dark World.
So Locklen is actually going to make a run at Skull Woods. I'm not really sure why. I mean, can't actually finish this dungeon.
No, but they can potentially get both items out of it.
Potentially. And if one ends up being a sword, then this whole argument is moot. But,
and now they're trying to decide what they want to do. Just going to wait for the wall master to drag them back out again.
Yeah.
And Jimbro entering it into their Fantoon fight.
Locklen had some trouble with Fantoon. Took about a couple cycles longer than normal. I got it done, but it was not an easy fight.
Just keys in this area of Skullwoods.
Item number 1 was missiles. There are 2 unique items in Skull Woods. This might provide... Yeah, this is the impetus to just get out of here.
Yeah, without the sword, they can't finish it. They grabbed the easy item. And we can see what's on Bumper Ledge. They do have the cape.
Unfortunately, just a piece of heart there, so nothing worth getting excited about. Is an hour and a half and no Zelda sword typical? No, but it's not unheard of.
Yeah, unfortunately, all the items are randomized, so some items will come early in the progression, other items will come late, and it can vary wildly as to which those are.
It has been interesting that a lot of the Zelda items have been in Super Metroid, and a lot of the Super Metroid items have been in Zelda.
And we started off with a whole bunch of Super Metroid progression early.
Yeah. Jimbro playing it safe and drops Fantoon.
And we'll have to see if Locklen decides to dip into Thieves Town. They're really going to want to do so, so hopefully they do. And it looks like they are going to do so. They will find their red mail and their hookshot.
Well, it remains to be seen how far Locklen's going to take this. There is the prevailing strategy of just checking the front, and with only one item, the red mail turned up in up front, so that might make Locklen think, well, there's probably nothing here, so let's get out of here.
Well, but with only finding one item in the front, that I think that would create more of an impetus to head to the back.
Maybe.
Just because there's so many more items to be found.
True, and green pendant probably would tilt you to think, well, there's got to be something here, right? So it definitely can go both ways. It depends on the runner's mindset. I think it actually would have been more likely if Locklen had a mirror.
Yeah, if you had a mirror, I think you'd be more likely to leave, because otherwise you have to do a death warp out, and that's just a pain, particularly once you just picked up red mail.
Yeah. So that's it. The bride that links the lore of these games. Sick kid is a Metroid. Well, that's the most logical thing I've heard today, so sure, let's go with it.
And Locklen using that powder to turn one of the anti-fairies into a fairy for a nice quick health refill.
Putting the magic cape to good use there, so that's actually another thing Locklen's going to have the edge on. Well, actually, can't really. Actually, never mind. Can't use hammer and cape at the same time. But Red Cane is actually gonna make things pretty easy. Set up some nice blocks. Now ninjembro leads 4-3 on the bosses. He's done 2 crystals and 2 Super Metroid bosses. Locklen has done 2 Super Metroid bosses and 1 crystal. And what's actually interesting is the crystal that Locklen has done, ninjembro has not, which was Desert. And not a guarantee he's going to be heading towards Desert/Agina anytime soon.
Yeah, that is one potential edge that Locklen has at the moment, particularly if we don't find that mirror.
Yeah, that could tilt things a bit in Locklen's favor, but the long-term play still belongs to ninjembro at the moment. But this could easily the tide could easily shift, especially now that Locklen has just picked up that hook shot, so that could really even things up here. Remains to be seen if Locklen's going to make a run at Pod or go straight for Tower of Hera. Both are perfectly reasonable choices. And actually, I would think myself, I think Tower of Hera is probably the more likely play, just because it can parlay that into Hookshot Cave. Some Kana Samaria strats on blind here. That's something you normally see, but speaking of Kane, ninjembro just picked it up. Nice bank, nice
yeah, that was a very nice Kana Samaria blind fight.
Nice skill to have in your back pocket, that's for sure. Oh boy, jeez, Metroid. Beer.
All right, we'll see what Locklen does now. I assume they're going to do the dig game, but then we'll see whether they decide to do the Smith chain right away or put that off till later. Might be, if they do choose to put it off, that might be a good thing, because then that gets them closer to keep finding their gravity at Hype Cave.
Yeah.
Though they may just pick up the Smith just to drag him around the world with them.
I know. appears to be exactly what Locklen is going to do.
Yep, gonna give the Smith a world tour. Yeah, and that is true. King's Tomb is doable at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Kind of getting the business there, but finally gets rid of the opposition and is now moving on. Ninjembro looks like he's heading back to A Link to the Past.
But that may just be to go and use the Norfair portal.
Could be. Yeah, it does appear that does appear so. Also could make a run at Dark Death Mountain, and that's actually it looks like where Ninjembro's going to be going to.
Ah, yes, that's true. We can. That's a good play. It lets us know what medallion we're going to be needing for Turtle Rock.
Yeah. Can clear. I actually yes. HLA hat. Yes. Ninjembro could actually. Both of them can actually do Ice Palace.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be a very fun cold stare fight, but
No.
could do it.
Half magic at least levels it out a little bit, but yeah, that's not exactly one you want to do. Is this actually a swordless team nobody told us?
No, that is not an option for SMZ3 at the moment.
Oh, we're starting to run out of checks here, so you know one could be forgiven for thinking otherwise. So, Quake, Vanilla Quake required to open TR, so that's. Alright, is Hookshot Cave gonna hold anything? Oh?
Grapple Beam, that's Shack Tool.
Okay, so Hookshot coming not exactly empty, but that's not what I think they were hoping to find.
So for those of you hoping for a sword on Shack Tool, well, there we go. That increases the chances of that actually being a thing.
Damn, I thought Ninjembro was actually going to go check Sarsaparilla there.
Yeah, because we do need to find out what that green pendant actually turns into.
Everyone's going to do hammer pegs and purple chest.
Yeah, so without the mirror, that becomes a little more of an annoying turn-in for the purple chest.
Ninjembro is going to go in. There's another E-tank. Locklen's not going to say no to that. I think that's like 10 or 11 now. Yeah, we do need 2 swords to beat Ganon. We need 1 sword just to take care of to take care of Skullwoods. So, you know, at least 1 sword is really needed here.
Yeah, we need 1 sword before we can even get into GT.
Yeah. It's like, Ninjembro's gonna set up, Icebreaker.
And gets it very easily.
That's item number 1, some supers. Oh,
Yes.
the flute! Lower Norfair is open.
All right, so that is our logical access to Lower Norfair,
Wow, what
as
a...
well as to the Mire area.
And baby sword for Ninjembro and Ice Palace.
So hopefully Locklen does activate their flute and give us a look at the Mire area so we can see what medallion we need for Mire, and that will tell us as viewers what is actually still needed for Go mode.
Rise for the Swag Dunk Anthem. Flute was purple chest.
And Ninjembro's headed to the iced tea room.
Two items so far, super missiles and a baby sword. Right, moment of truth. Mire needs ether.
Okay, so we need the ether and quake medallions and the ice rod for Go mode.
Air shed, power bombs and $20. Nothing to get excited about. Oh, there's the ice rod for Ninjembro.
Yep. Okay, so we are just looking for medallions now.
X-ray at screw attack, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, that is a nice thing to find before Meridia. And with that charge ice plasma, Locklen should have little trouble dispensing with Golden Trezo.
A little trouble getting those. There it is. A little trouble getting those hitboxes to connect. So, luckily,
and there is our quake.
Wow.
All we need is, so at 1 hour and 40 minutes into the seed, we are now one item from no mode. Well, 2 items, I guess. We still need a second sword.
Right. So Ninjembro in very good shape right now, picking up 2 crucial items out of Ice Palace in the form of a bit of a sword, which will probably make him go straight to Skull and get rid of that. And then, yeah, Locklen's got some key items of his own right now. Still holding on to that book for Desert. Let's see what was in King's Tomb. Ah, thank you. Alright, so... Well, that completes the set of beams for Locklen.
Yep, with the... Wow, it does a nice job of getting back out of mouse missiles.
The ether, it's... Yep, that's very much a possibility right now. So Ninjembro can't actually check pedestal because it didn't have the book right now.
Well, Mir can't be on pedestal because that's required for Swamp Palace.
Correct. So Ninjembro can take care of Skull Woods. He's got the sword and he's got Fire Rod and he's got half magic, so this should actually be a pretty quick fight for him.
Yeah, as long as Mothula is cooperating.
Yeah, never guarantee Locklen taking a save before going into the deep into the back of Lower Norfair here to take on Ridley. That'll be his third boss.
Yeah, well, there's still a lot of places we haven't checked. Have we even seen the pyramid or catfish?
No, neither. No. Both were kind of on the way for Ninjembro, but he opted to just go straight for Pod, which totally understandable.
Yeah, I'm a bit more surprised that Locklen didn't, since he was dragging the smith with him. Might as well finish off with the last two items, but...
Minor correction, Locklen has not been to Pod yet.
And Ninjembro does get down the moth. Finds the big key. And gets their fourth crystal?
Fourth crystal, yes. He's up 6-4. He's up 6-3 right now. Locklen about to take on Ridley, so that'll knock the gap back down to 2. But right now, Ninjembro in pretty good shape overall. Yeah, he's really one item from getting all 7 crystals. Or 2 items, excuse me, from all 7 crystals. He needs the medallions.
Yeah, and a way into desert.
Right. Well, that he'll be able to pick up pretty quick if he goes to Agena.
Yep.
That renders that largely moot. Or he finds the mirror at some point.
Yeah, and since he can get to Lower Norfair with a gravity jump, he can then get to GT and get the Ether medallion. Or, sorry, White medallion.
Right. So Ridley goes down at 146.02. And Ridley is hiding $50. Dragon hoards money. Well, it's one of the few times Ridley actually hasn't paid off.
Ninjembro, of course, now finds their missiles in the front of Skullwoods. And that's their last item, so they leave. Right,
so right now, Ninjembro leads 6-4 on the bosses with 4 crystals and 2 Super Metroid bosses. Locklen's got 3 Super Metroid bosses and a crystal. It's a very interesting contrast we've seen from our runners so far. They've gone very different ways, and as we stated, it has actually benefited both of them. It remains to be seen how and when this breaks. It looks like Ninjembro thought ninjembro for a second was actually going to go to make a run at Agina and Desert.
But actually, it looks like they're going to do Pyramid Fairy.
Yes, that's true. We have not seen Pyramid Fairy, and now we can.
And they'll check the pyramid at the same time. Oh, and there's Space Jump.
Well.
Okay, so that means that the flute was logically required for access.
Yeah, wow. So from here, this might mean Locklen's just going to go straight from Meridia.
Yeah, it does have the ability to full clear it, and has the X-ray, so can microwave Batoon and Dragon.
There's our third shield. We've now seen all three of them. The second shield was, I believe, in Hookshot Cave. Probably not going to go out of his way for that. We'll go for the super.
Yeah, I don't really see why you would necessarily need this supers when you have full beam combo, but
true. So $20 on the pyramid.
And we get the blue cane and a heart container on that. Is that our last bottle there?
Yeah, I think that's 4. I think that's 4. So ninjembro, looks like he's gonna make a. I thought he was gonna make a run.
I think he's going to go to the backdoor Meridia portal.
Yeah, can certainly do it. Can certainly take care of business there. Locklen, by a different route, is going to do the same. We'll see what Locklen can come up with. Front of Meridia. Right now, the only thing that would really help him is probably ether or a couple of, or a nice a sword or two.
Yeah, we are just looking for that master sword and that ether medallion.
Right. We've seen because one sword is an ice palace, we know that, and Quake was there too.
Well, Quake is at Golden Teresa.
What am I thinking of?
Ice Rod.
Yes, thank you. Ice Rod is at it looks like Locklen's gonna go check X-ray first.
Well, I think that does make some sense. Just Locklen has been very carefully making sure that they get all of their checks done. They're not just leaving stuff unchecked.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to have that place be the one that burns you. And he has been fairly conscientious of all of that to date, and it has paid off for him in a few ways. The most notable, of course, was the book at Agina.
Yeah, and that right now is the one check that's really separating the runners in terms of what they can and can't do, because most of the dungeons that ninjembro has done are basically open to Locklen, other than Skull Woods.
Right, and once he does Ice Palace, that's rendered moot. One fried shrimp, one microwave shrimp. Yep, looking that way. Alright, setup is ready. Ooh, didn't quite get it, so he's going to have to wait this out.
It has plenty of health. It's not really going to be a concern. And Locklen, meanwhile, is about to enter Meridia themselves. And they're going to have a definite movement advantage with that space jump.
It's 7-4 in favor of Ninjembro right now, but we're far off from this being decided at all. A lot of things still to be done.
Locklen trying to get the short charge here.
Yep. While we have a slight break in the action, do give our runners a follow tonight. This has been a terrific match between two very good players. So that would be much appreciated. And if you have time, give myself, Pro-A007, Chad Brown, my co-commentator this evening, and our tracker, Zeruvian, done a great job tonight.
Yeah, and also be sure to check out our sponsor for this tournament, rake1.global, a site where you can create a page to list all of your gaming interests, find others that share your same interests. You can track your speedrun, personal bests, whatever games you're currently playing, your favorite games.
Bombos and Mama Turtles, so wrong medallion, but hey, it's going to make Cold Stir a little easier.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll pull Locklen to Ice Palace, because that is where they need to go to get that sword.
Right now, there's going to be a lot of overworld checks in Meridia right now that are going to take priority at the moment, and who knows, maybe something big comes through. Ninjembro on his way to Plasma. Well, the Bombos will be useful when he gets to Ice Palace because there is a sword in there, so that's not an issue. Because he will pick up a sword in the Ice Palace. Oh, the mirror for Ninjembro at Plasma. There's Spring Ball.
That will get him to Desert.
Yep. So that takes the Book of Medora out of the equation. So Locklen's one advantage is just pretty much vanished.
Yeah, particularly if Ninjembro decides to do that gravity jump.
I imagine he will. I'm sure he can do it.
Yep.
First, he's got to get out of here.
Well, and this is a pretty tricky wall jump, but it's definitely possible to do with high jump boots. And there he gets it.
It is true. It is. We are really now at the point where is Ether? No, not there.
Yeah. So left we have the sand pits, and
One's going to take care of
Shack-Tool
Dragon first. And Shack-Tool, yep, Shack-Tool.
I know there's plenty in our audience that are still hoping for that.
So, microwave, just a little off there. The second round will take care of business.
Yep. Fried microwave snake. Anyone?
Yeah.
Tastes like chicken.
I'll take your word for it. Yeah, Aga 1 has been dead for a while, unfortunately. Ether on Ped possible. Yeah, Ether on Ped is basically what we're hoping for at this point to really screw with our runners.
Otherwise, this has been a fairly jet seed.
Yeah.
Had a pretty linear start, but then all of a sudden, it opened up, and our runners have not done the same things as one another since.
Oh, it's been very, very different routes, but both have been very profitable in their own ways for our runners. So it's been a very interesting study in contrasts. Jumbo's about to get his bombos off of Mama Turtle in the wall. Here comes some microwave shrimp. Very quick fight from Locklen. Takes care of Dragon at 158.35. That's all 4 bosses for Locklen in Super Metroid.
And no, the green pennant has not been checked. Both runners have collected it, but neither one has turned it in.
Yeah, you're right, and it'll be interesting to see, is that where Ether is? So... race is on. The Ether race is on. Locklen possibly could hold the edge here because ninjembro has done more crystals than Locklen. However, he hasn't found that Ether, so that could prove to be advantageous. So
it looks like Locklen is planning to do the 100% strats for taking care of the sand pits and plasma and shack tool.
Makes sense. He's skipping out on plasma, though. Well, for the moment, he's skipping out on plasma.
It does look like they're going to save first, so they can reload if they don't find anything. Oh, someone in chat trying to say that Ether is going to be behind Shovel, which would be left side swap. Well, that would be pretty awful for the runners.
Yeah, that's that or like laser bridge or something. Well, there's our fourth reserve tank.
And one thing that could potentially give ninjembro an advantage is if there is something at Shack Tool. Just because they do have that grapple beam.
Right. But, well...
And Locklen may be very well capable of doing the ice clip, but they didn't do it just then when it would have been their best chance to do so.
Well, it's going to go to plasma now, so that's going to give him the mirror.
Yep.
Jimbo's going to have a little trouble here because no space jump, unfortunately.
Well, and very well, Ether could be somewhere like Mimic Cave.
Yep, a lot of... At this point, the only place Ether cannot be is in Misery Mire. Everywhere else is fair game.
Yep. We pretty much have the entire rest of the game open to us.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, or at the moment we would have a difficult time if it was on one of the tablets since we don't have a second sword yet.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. And we've only got one sword to date, and that was an Ice Palace.
Well, no. The progression items cannot be inside of Ganon's tower, so we're not even... Those aren't even potential options, so...
extra swords can be in there, but that's about it. Just $50 in Shack Tool, so there that goes.
All right, so we know that it is not in Meridia. So Meridia just had that mirror, which we will have to see whether or not that actually ends up being progression or just a red herring.
We haven't seen left sand pit either. I don't think we saw the right sand pit. We did not see left though, did we?
I believe Locklen just checked it.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he went down right sand pit, then went up plasma, and then came back down.
Ah, right. Yes. Yeah. So nothing doing for Ninjembro. Still holding a 2-boss lead at the moment, up 7-5. Looks like Locklen's going to make us heading for
Head
Herring.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they haven't done anything in Death Mountain.
No, double it up. So this is going to work out pretty well for Locklen as far as that goes.
Yeah, because they will be able to get everything except, of course, finishing Turtle Rock because they don't have that ice rod from Ice Palace.
Correct. But everything else is, and Ether obviously cannot be done. But yeah, everything else is in play. So in terms of routing, this is going to work out pretty well for Locklen. Ninjembro's probably heading straight for Ridley at this point.
Yeah. Nope, they are headed back into Link to the Past.
A little surprised by that. Wonder what Ninjembro is thinking at this point.
Well, they may just be thinking in terms of the progression, that they don't want to do that sequence break. I don't know exactly what their thought is there.
Well, Ninjembro has not done the Smith chain. So
Yeah, and that may be what they're with the mirror now, that gives added value to doing the Smith chain because you can do it all in sequence.
right, and plays his cards right. He ends up with the Book of Medora, and he can just clear the decks in a hurry. Well, he doesn't really need it, but that lends added credence. So,
Yep.
Locklen. Yeah, combined between the two runners were one item from Go mode, which is Ether.
Still two, because we also need a second sword.
Right. And wherever it is, it's got to be in Zelda.
Yeah, because between the two runners, we have full cleared Super Metroid. Actually, I think Locklen alone has checked every location but Shack Tool.
Right. So there's Quake Medallion for Quake Medallion is coming for. I'm losing my mind. Flute is coming up.
Yeah, Flute's going to be coming up for Ninjembro. We'll also get to see what's at Cave 45.
Yeah, that's true. We have not seen Cave 45 yet. 45. Well, there's our second sword, so...
All right, so now we are in one item from Go mode. We're just looking for that ether medallion.
It's an ether end. It's an ether end game. What's it? Bit of timing there.
Very interesting. We just got the Master Sword. Yet the runners had both the bow and the silvers less than 20 minutes into the seed.
Better cop. Oh, there's a sword upgrade at Ether, so that's valuable intel.
Yeah. If Locklen can find those two swords,
Yeah.
they can just go and grab a nice, quick, tempered sword before they head into GT.
And that could be huge, because, nobody really wants to fight Ganon with the Master Sword. I mean, yeah, you could, but do you really wanna? Book of Medora was at Agena.
And our second flute is activated.
So, Ninjembro wasting no time putting it to good use is going to be able to do the full check around the cave. He's going to be able to check the shed, the Myers shed, and do checkerboard cave, which has not been checked to date.
And Ninjembro just saw that they were missing both of the medallions that they needed.
He's gonna be very happy pretty soon.
Yep. Probably check checkerboard and finish Desert Palace since he's here.
So, see what Troll Dorm does with Locklen. There's just some missiles at checkerboard. Ooh. Just a little off there against Troll Dorm, but finishes him off, and finds out he has to go to the basement, so...
Yep. Which unfortunately we know is also nothing, but...
Yeah, so 210.50 for Locklen. That's 6 now. That's 4. That's the second crystal. It's first crystal since the 57-minute mark when he took down Desert, which is where Ninjembro is right now. So you want to see how different these runners have been. Just look at let's go by the splits on their bosses.
Yeah, Locklen's been doing a lot of the overworld checks, all the various Super Metroid checks that he hadn't been able to route in the first time through. Whereas Ninjembro's really just been going to the next clump of progression.
And it still remains to be seen who is going to profit more off of their strategy at this point. Although I would think it's probably Ninjembro at this point, just strictly based on the idea that when he does find Ether, he's going to have a lot less to clear at this point. Locklen's still playing a bit behind on a few crucial things, notably the swords.
Yeah, those swords are, unfortunately, that lack of swords are probably what's keeping him from dipping into Ice Palace.
Yeah, and now he's running out of choices. He can still do pod, I suppose. He hasn't done Pod, he hasn't done Ice Palace, so it's a question of which one he would rather do first, and it's probably going to be Pod ahead of
Yeah, particularly
Ice
since he
Palace,
can also turn in that green pendant.
which I'm surprised he hasn't. No, but neither of them have done yet. Where they've had that. There's a sword from
All right.
Locklen, so we now have seen all 4 swords. So that renders all of that moot. So now he's probably going to make a run at Ice Palace. He's gonna go get some potions. Good idea.
Yeah, got lots of cash. Got a lot of bottles.
Ninjembro is actually using fire rod strats to take down land mollas, and does it very successfully.
So we very quickly went from having only 1 sword found to all 4 swords found.
So 213.46 for Ninjembro. Locklen is going to be making the pod run here, and probably turn in the green pendant to Sarsaparilla while he's at it.
And yeah, I do agree. It's very unlikely that Ninjembro will. Well, we don't know because it depends on where Ether is.
Yep, that's the question. That's the question on everyone's mind right now. Where is Ether? Well, it's not at Sarsaparilla. Ninjembro did not get book, and it's pretty unlikely it's gonna anytime soon because he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to check a Gina unless he's doing paranoia checks. He's not gonna go get Ether.
Yeah, well, if he
He's
decides,
not gonna get book. He's not gonna get book.
If he did for some reason get the book, that might tempt him to go, and he still was looking for Ether. It might tempt him to go do that Ether tablet, Spike Cave, and get both the swords that way. But it's more likely that rather than go to Agina, he's gonna go after finishing Lower Norfair. He's gonna go to Turtle Rock.
Yes.
And clear that.
Yeah, because he can. Yeah.
And that's likely where the Ether medallion is going to be.
So this is going to be fun for Ninjembro getting out of this one. Locklen had a pretty good strat using a speed booster.
Yeah, Locklen just used the Shine Spark out of GT.
Yeah, and Chad is correct. We have not seen Bombo's tablet. It's one of the few things we have not seen.
Yeah, we have not seen Bobnow's tablet because both runners just got their mirrors and haven't had any reason to go to that part of Dark World. In fact, they would rather not have to go to that part of Dark World if they can help it.
Yeah, no kidding. So after this, Locklen's probably going to go straight. He's out of choices. He's got to do Ice Palace after this. Although the Sting, as you correctly point out, has probably been taken out a little bit now that he actually can do ice. Now that he actually has a sword. Ooh.
Doesn't quite get that bonk.
Set it up for the long route. Has Catfish been checked?
No.
Graveyard Ledge, I know, hasn't.
Catfish has not been checked. Pretty sure Ninjembro, when he did Pyramid Fairy, just checked the pyramid item and then saved and quit.
Yes, he did. French vanilla ether via bombos or catfish would be a thing. Yes, absolutely. If it's not a tablet, it's not at head, you know. So it is fair to wonder how long is it going to be if Locklen decides to do a paranoia check and it's like, okay, screw it, I'm just going to check right now. Actually, it might be right after this. He might just do it after. He might go to Skull after this and do a double. Check it and get that out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way you can do it. Just go over, get Catfish, then hookshot across, get King's Tomb, Graveyard Ledge.
That's quite a lot. That's quite a run, but it would work. So. Uh-oh. Jembro got a little ahead of himself there and is going to have to work his way up quickly. Get out of the
has
acid.
lots of health.
Yeah, 12 E tanks is this.
Yeah, that's a plus. What, all four 3 or 4 reserves?
Three reserves, I believe. The fourth is at the end of Ridley Escape.
Ninjembro making their way down to Ridley. Locklen making their way to Helmasaur.
Yeah, it'll be boss number 9 for Ninjembro. And Helmasaur will be number 7 for Locklen.
Okay, looks like Ninjembro is going to go with Charge Beam strats on Ridley. And Locklen takes down Helmasaur. So they are now at 4 crystals. And we'll see where they head next. Where they head towards Skullwoods or down to Ice Palace.
Yeah, that's the eternal question right now. Where looks like Locklen is going to do the Skullwoods pod or a PED paranoia check.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. The nice thing about Skullwoods is you can just go straight back to Mothula.
Mm-hmm. And he's already done about half the dungeon because he was here It was the first thing he did when he actually got Dark World access, was kind of just do a quick dip into Skull, see if there's anything there.
Yeah, so he knows he doesn't need to do anything in the front.
Right. So yeah, so it's not so we're at 9-7 right now. Ninjembro with the lead, but a very crucial moment could be coming up here if Locklen does do a paranoia check on the pedestal. Ether could be required to get into Mire.
It looks like we are getting that paranoia check.
Yes, indeed. So here it is. Is Ether on the ped? Get your ped hype ready.
And just a piece of heart.
There is no God. Just once, I'd like to see that actually happen. Ped is dead. So, based on the number of checks we have seen, we know it's got to be essentially in like one of about 4 locations.
Well, it's got to be in Turtle Rock, in Swamp Palace,
Or Bombos.
or, yeah, Bombo's tablet. Or
Yes.
on the
Seth
shovel, which could be in any of those locations.
That's true. Yeah, we have not seen Shovel. So yeah, Shovel and
Oh, a catfish.
Catfish and Graveyard.
Yeah, have we seen King's Tomb, or is that also?
King's Tomb's been checked, I believe. Ninjembro did it.
Okay.
So Locklen drops Mothula in short order at 225-11. So it's 9-8 now. The first one to find Ether is in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, and I suspect Ninjembro's going to gamble on it being in Turtle Rock.
Which is it's not an unreasonable assumption to make either.
No, I think that the order I would check them in is I would start here, and potentially while I was here also check Spike Cave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and well, he'll be pleased when he goes to Spike Cave.
Yeah, if he does go to do the Spike Cave, he will get Tempered Sword.
So
if Ether is in Turtle Rock, though, that might make things increase the chances that he ends up just having that Master Sword for Ganon.
Yep, and the other added advantage of doing Turtle Rock now is he can full clear this dungeon. 100%. He's got both the fire and the ice rods, so there's no reason not to. It's like Locklen's going to do Graveyard. He's got a feeling. Why is Locklen not doing IP? I think, Killer App, he's gambling that if he gets Ether right now, he can do a go mode and just gun through all these dungeons. Yeah, unfortunately, if he go modes ice, he's going to miss out on a sword.
Yeah, he will not be able to go mode ice because he needs that ice rod.
Oh, yeah. You're right. So, okay. That's true, because he's playing 2 items to go mode. I keep thinking he's 1 item to go mode. Right, yeah. It's like, how quickly we forget. Yeah, Locklen's doing some of the checks Ninjembro has and hasn't checked. Graveyard was a bust, but Catfish is still in play.
Yeah, and that's true. Now with the Icebreaker, Ice Palace is a far less annoying dungeon to full clear than it used to be.
There's our 4th bottle, so that takes care of that.
And it looks like Locklen is making the play over to Catfish.
Need the sword to get that sword. That's a fun little paradox for you. Unless he goes to Cape 45, which is pretty unlikely given where he's at and where he'll end up being for the rest of this seed.
Yeah, and that's the one potential thing that worries me is that Locklen just is not comfortable going into with Hammer Cold Stare or Fighter Sword Cold Stare, and is just hoping to find a second sword before they do Ice Palace.
Well, with Bombos now, that kind of limits some of the damage, and there's another E-tank from Catfish. So he's down. He's out of choices. He's got to.
Okay, now he's going to do the Pyramid Fairy.
That, or he's going to Swamp.
Or Bombos.
Well, he can't do Bombos. He can
Well,
check
but
it.
he can check it.
Okay, it looks like he's going to do Pyramid Fairy. He'll get his blue cane.
In a lot of ways, Bombos Tablet would be the one that really... I mean, for Locklen to come back, that's where he really needs Ether to be.
Yeah. So Ninjembro's about halfway through Turtle Rock. Still no Ether from either player. Ninjembro picks it up here. He's in absolute control of this match. He's in pretty good shape right now, just based on the number of crystals he's accumulated. He's up 1 right now, 9-8, and he's on his 10th boss. He's on his 10th boss, Super Metroid boss / Crystal. Mimic Cave up next. Just some missiles.
Okay. So where is Locklen headed to next?
The answer is an Ice Palace, then I am really... Okay, it's finally Ice Palace.
Okay, good. So that will put him then in 1 item from Go Mode, with the ability to get that Tempered Sword whenever he chooses.
Yep. Here we go. And I'm assuming he knows Icebreaker, so this will make things a lot smoother for him. All right, Laser Bridge, moment of truth. There's our last E-tank. I think that's all 14 now that we've seen. Not on Laser Bridge. Huh.
Okay, so we just have Trinex left.
Trinex... Yeah, it's got to be an item because we've already seen both map and compass. Set up by Locklen's not going for Icebreaker.
No, they are. They just were hitting the switch first.
Oh, he's resetting the switch. Okay, never mind. Pay no attention to me.
When Ninjembro did it, they didn't do the switch, so they actually had to use the big key to get through to the back. But
You're right. You're right. Through.
And Locklen also gets Icebreaker easily.
Need a couple extra seconds to set it up, but worked out, and okay, and Jembro's taking care of business. He had to be a little careful. I don't think he actually made a pit stop for any potions like Locklen did.
And Locklen gets their Master Sword.
Alright, so the race is on. Okay, here we go. Is it on Trinex? No. So
All right, so it's not in Turtle Rock.
so it's Bombos or Swamp Palace. That's it. I think we've seen everything else. And Jembro is going to get his Tempered Sword just now, so that's going to be a nice find for him. Yes. Okay, Run DCM makes a good point. Shovel is about the only other thing it can be at this point. We've seen everything else. Yep. Failure to communicate. Yep. Left side swamp to shovel to ether. Yes.
Yeah, you definitely did say that.
You did, and your dream is very much alive. It's a dark and twisted and evil dream, but it is nonetheless alive.
And Ninjembro is going to do that swamp play.
So, yeah, so right now Locklen is praying that it's, well, he doesn't know, but for him to win, it has to be at Bombos.
Yeah, and even then, it's not. I mean, since Ninjembro doesn't have a lot of checks left, and is in the desert-ish area anyway, might very well make Agina their next check.
Yeah. All right, so this will make number 9 for Locklen. Six unique items here in Swamp Palace. One of them could well be the Ether Medallion.
Yeah, and we'll shortly see our first check.
Ninjembro has not checked a couple of things in Super Metroid. The most notable offhand is Waterway.
And Ninjembro did not check Waterway. Trying to think if there's any others he skipped.
It's the only one I can think of off X-Ray. That's right. He hasn't checked X-Ray, so.
Yeah, and hasn't done Catfish, hasn't done Graveyard Ledge.
But none of those are particularly likely at this point. Locklen's going to get his Tempered Sword off of the Ether tablet.
Yeah, we know none of those are the right answer. It just if it is not inside swamp, which of those orphan locations does Ninjembro go to first?
And the answer is very likely Bombos. Gonna do the full left side check. Does not want to double dip this.
No, since all he needs is the item, you just do everything.
So Locklen on his way to Turtle Rock. He's overall still behind here, but his one advantage with Bombos, possibly the Bombos tablet, is starting to whittle away. Even if he gets it right now, it's still not as advantageous. Ninjembro is in the lead at this point. Yeah, Green Pendant was turned in by Locklen, not Ninjembro. It was nothing. Left side checks now for Ninjembro. Locklen underway in Turtle Rock. This will make boss number 10 for Locklen. Ninjembro has 10 right now. He's one crystal away. There it is! Go mode for Ninjembro at 2:39:15.
All right, so now Ninjembro will head straight to Misery Buyer. To get their last crystal.
From there, it's a dead sprint to the finish.
And of course, since it's a go mode Buyer, that means the big key will be vanilla or something like that.
Probably. And the seed's got expectations and all, you know. Nice bird toss into the drink. So definitely Ninjembro's race to lose at this point. Still plenty of game to be played. We still got left-right side check at GT and a couple other little things. But at this point, it would take an awful lot for Ninjembro to slip at this point.
First chest is a small key. Just looking for that big key. Second chest is another small key.
There it is.
Finding the big key.
All right, so
Unfortunately, Locklen's still going to be doing all of the checks inside Turtle Rock here. Going to be going into Mimic Cave.
yeah, unfortunately, the high number of items in this dungeon and its general reputation is, And Locklen, again, one item from go mode. It's like, he doesn't know. Although I wonder in his case, you know, I wonder for him and for Ninjembro as well, at this stage, do you feel ahead or do you feel behind?
You know, I think that's tough. You know, the seed. I think it's difficult because the seed didn't have any really big gambles made by
Yeah.
either runner. So I think they'd probably both feel a bit behind just because of all the checks they made that turned out to be nothing. It's like, well, what if my opponent didn't do those checks?
Right, and the checks that they did get that paid off, it's like, well, you know, when they see the full picture, they're probably thinking, oh god, totally should have done that like an hour or so earlier or whatever. I think probably more so for Ninjembro because he skipped out on a lot of overworld checks that didn't pay off, or that ultimately did pay off, but the way how he did them and when he did them might be leaving him feeling a little worried.
Yeah, and there was a lot of times where it's like, okay, you did something, and then, oh, look, here's this Super Metroid movement item that would have made what you just did much easier.
Yeah, Locklen had that advantage going for him, particularly in the second half of this. Okay, folks, you know what time it is. It's everybody's favorite game. We have 22 possible locations for the big key in Ganon's Tower. Get your guesses in, folks.
All right, do you have a guess yourself?
I'm gonna say, number 12.
I'm going to go with not David Lynch and go with 7.
All right. So the race is on. Looking at about a 305, 310, I'd say, for our finish here. It's not going to be, unless even if he gets it like right away, I don't think it's going to be a sub 3.
No, the seed was looking like it had the potential early on, but it just that ether.
The
hunt
ether
was...
the ether end game unfortunately completely short-circuited those plans. And the lack of a sword, really, the swords didn't start popping up until about 145 into the seed.
Yeah, the late swords and that pendant swamp ether.
Yeah. Okay, Locklen drops Trinex. Official. Okay, good luck, everybody. And Locklen gets his 10th boss at 246. Oh, number 2.
Number 2. Well, the closest without going over was old Pyonga, who had 1.
So Ninjembro gets his big key is on his way up GT now, so he's got plenty of safeties with the magic powders, so he shouldn't have to worry about health. He's got 12 hearts, red mail. The only thing he doesn't have is the riot shield, which he passed up on in. Actually, did he even get a shield? Oh, yeah, he does. Okay. Yeah, he passed up on riot shield at Ridley.
Yeah, didn't feel like going through the jail to get the riot shield.
Well, Locklen's about to get Gold Sword just because he really does not want to go to Swamp.
Yeah, unfortunately, He's way too behind at this point for that sword difference to make any difference in the outcome.
Even if it were gold versus blue sword, it would be irrelevant because of silvers.
Yep.
Locklen's gonna check.
Yeah, I think that is correct. That we've found every major item at this point.
Yes, that is correct. There's supers and bombos. So out of choices, it's gonna be Swamp Palace now for Locklen.
Unless there's a boomerang that we weren't paying attention to.
No, they got both. They got both of them.
Okay.
Both have shown up.
Yeah, we found Shovel in the Hope Room along with the big key.
So, yeah. Right.
So it turned out that Mir in Meridia really was the answer to completing this seed.
Yeah. As it turned out. Voldorm's revenge, well... Not for lack of trying, but ninjembro was able to take care of Trolldorm.
And gets a final piece of heart.
Ninjembro gonna take on Aga 2 here. See how kind Aga is today. I think that was a triple, so...
Yeah, it looked like it.
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
No, it was a double, or maybe it was a double, so one... That's... Okay, that's 6. It was a 1-2, 1-1-1, I think. It was a 5-cycle fight. Kind of a weird round of the roundabout, but it worked. So yeah, so red sword, silvers, this is pretty... And he's got cape and cane of Burna if he really needs them, just to save his health.
Yeah, half magic, so he doesn't need to worry about using the cane or Burna.
Well, hits per round for the first 2 rounds. So I probably need one more cycle. He got it. All right. And Locklen about to hit go mode. 52:37. Unfortunately, that's 13 minutes after Ninjembro.
Yeah, and ninjembro's already entering phase 4.
Nice double there from ninjembro. Unfortunately, does not get the torch glitch, but that doesn't really matter.
No, I think he intentionally didn't want it, so you could just do that nice quick setup.
253.10 for Ganon, so get out your G's in chat. All right. 1 down, 1 to go. Going with the bird throw, as is tradition.
And ninjembro doing the save and quit, and then resetting to Super Metroid.
Doesn't he? Well, he could, but he doesn't really need to. He's not going to go for a pit stop just to refill on missiles.
Yeah, it doesn't really need it. It's got full beams, which is what he'll be using to fight Mother Brain. He's got ice for doing Zeb skip and for the Metroids.
He is a well-stocked Samus for this final fight. It's like
only missing 1 E-tank.
Yeah, and we saw where that E-tank was at what was it? One of the spots.
Catfish?
It might have been. Yeah, it was Catfish. Catfish had the 14th E-tank. You think he has enough health? Well, if he doesn't, then he's really been fooling us all night with his quality of play.
Okay, I'm really confused as to where Locklen's going right now.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. This is not the route you normally see. Yeah, fishbone room. Yeah, we don't see this very often, if at all. Yeah, there's another key, but it isn't really. He's got like 3 of them. Now I don't really know.
Yeah, and Misery Mire has so many keys, and you only really need 1 of them.
Oh, I see. I kind of see what he's doing now. He flipped the switch so he could check the. Okay, that kind of makes sense actually, and that's one of the 2 items. Just 10 arrows. See, is ninjembro going to go for baby skip, or looks like he is. He's going to give it a go at least.
And he's about to get his big key.
So in a way, that actually worked out pretty well for Locklen, but.
He does not want to deal with the bomb slimes. Instead, going to go through to the left, and where you can teleport to the back.
Actually, off of all the Metroids he killed, ninjembro actually picked up got back to full strength on regular missiles. He only had like 55 going in when he started up Super Metroid again. But he picked up plenty to go around from the Metroids. Ninjembro gonna do one last save. On the extremely remote chance he does soft lock.
Yeah, because the last thing you want to have to do is have to redo the entirety ship from the start. I mean, thankfully, you don't, unlike a SM only, you aren't necessarily losing your entire run to the soft lock.
Right. Bother with the skip. He's got plenty of missiles to get through the barriers, so it's and Locklen underway with Vitreous. There's the silvers, and that's it.
Yes. Silvers are a very easy way of doing with Vitreous. Probably because the game does not expect you to have silvers when you face Vitreous.
One of the only bosses requires more than one silver to finish him off, because Helmasaur and Helmasaur goes down in one hit to those, so do the Armus Knights. And Argus only needs one silver, but Vitreous actually needs two. Alright, so... Okay, he's fine. Sort of beating there, but
And Locklen is making their own way up to Ganon's tower right now.
yep. Quite you just use the mirror for that, but whatever. And now Samus will go into Berserker mode and finish the job.
And it looks like Locklen is going to head to Hope Room first, and will pretty much immediately get their big key. We'll then just have to go and get a small key so they can actually go up the tower.
Right, the race is on. Ninjembro. I have no trouble getting out of here in under 3 minutes. It probably will not be saving any animals today. Save that for Locklen if he so chooses.
And Locklen, now with big key and small keys in hand, is going to be heading up Ganon's tower.
Jumbo actually took a drop there. Thing you normally see. Might be nerves might be coming in a little bit for Ninjembro at this point, because I think around probably like in most races, probably around the 3-hour mark, starting. Okay, where's the dot done?
Yeah, particularly in a seed where so much of the seed was fairly jet.
Yeah, probably in this case, probably like 245 is probably when you start wondering, okay, where is it? Where's the dot done? Because long held theory for me is the nastier the seed gets, like the underdog, like then things start to get really interesting. All right, so that will do it. Get out the GGs for Ninjembro, who wins with an official SRL time of 3 hours, 2 minutes, and 43 seconds. Very, very strong
GGs.
performance. Let's see if Ninjembro's going to... Ninjembro is in the interview room, so when he's ready, he can join us. And once again, do give our runners a follow. This was a terrific race. Very well executed match by both players.
Yeah, and because of that different routing they took, we really had no idea who was going to come out on top as we were watching.
And we welcome our winner of tonight's first round match, Ninjembro, to the chat. GG.
Hey, it's GG.
So how'd you feel about it?
So I would say in general, like, I felt pretty good about that seed in that race. Obviously, my Super Metroid execution has a lot to be desired. That's something I know and something I honestly don't plan to make huge strides to improve. But I felt that my routing in the seed was very, very good. I actually struggle to think of ways I could have routed it much better.
It's funny you mentioned. It's funny you mentioned that because both of you took very different routes, and for a large portion of it, we really weren't sure who was leading.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because Locklen ended up going to wreck ship. Like when they got their speed booster, first thing that they did was go to wreck ship and get that cleared.
Mm-hmm.
While you, of course, went straight to Croc to get the hammer.
Yeah, that when I saw that hammer was there, I know it's possible to green gate glitch from the left side, but it's not something I practiced, and I wasn't sure if the setup was the same. So I just left really quickly and was just like, all right, we'll just come back here when it's in logic, whatever.
Yeah,
right.
It's not. It's definitely not the same setup as the normal green gate glitch.
Yeah. So I figured I had enough stuff that I could do that was in logic that I wasn't super worried about sequence breaking the hammer there. And then when I found the speed booster, I was like, oh, well, all right, let's go. Went straight to that hammer because I knew that would allow me to do quite a lot of stuff in Link to the Past, and from there I felt like most of the rest of the seed was in logic checks, which was really nice. I'm pretty comfortable with, well, not pretty comfortable, I'm very comfortable with sequence breaking Link to the Past, but I'm not super comfortable with sequence breaking Super Metroid, other than just like mock balls and things like that.
Right.
Like I don't do hell rooms or anything like that, unless it's just like 12 E-tanks and I'm doing like Upper North Air.
And one of the few things that you didn't check that actually helped out Locklen early was the Book of Medora was at Agena.
Oh wow, yeah.
So he was able to piece that together, and then then he did Fantoon, got that. So he had an early lead for a while, but then you were more aggressive, I think, in the Dark World dungeons. You cleared out as much as you could, as quickly as you could, and Locklen was more conservative with the overworld checks, and was really trying to piece that together.
Yeah, he really put off doing Ice Palace for a long time.
Yeah, that's probably what ended up, I think, costing him. And then you were able to really do a strong run for about really from like Tower of Hera on, you were pretty consistent in knocking out the major bosses.
Yeah, usually in SMZ3, I like to prioritize crystal dungeons whenever I have the chance, just because of how much there is to do, while doing overworld checks along the way. I generally won't go too far out of the way for overworld checks if there's still a lot that I can do in either game.
Mm-hmm.
Which obviously in Randomizer can bite you for sure. But yeah, I tend to just prioritize going straight to crystal dungeons, even if it's like long ones. Like even if Swamp Palace was a crystal dungeon, I would sooner full clear Swamp Palace than continue doing overworld checks, just because of how many locations there are between the two games. Like if Swamp Palace had progression in Super Metroid or something like that in a seed, I just feel like that would allow me to just more naturally progress through the game.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So thinking of that, how are you feeling like going into, say, Ice Palace without a sword at all?
So I was pretty confident in this particular scenario, only because it was, if I remember correctly, at that point I already had red mail. It might have been blue, but
Yeah, I think you had
Yeah.
red mail, you had half magic.
half magic.
yeah, I had half magic, red mail, hammer. Like I had so many things that like I wasn't really worried about it. And the fact that I found a sword there really didn't change anything, because I'm not going to use fighter sword against Cold Stare.
Right.
So like going into Ice Palace, which is funny because I play a lot of the Link to the Past randomizer ladder, and today I actually forfeited the match because I took a death on Cold Stare in a somewhat slightly similar scenario, with the exception that I didn't have nearly as much like survival.
Hmm.
So that was on my mind a little bit. I was like, oh man, what if I get all the way to Cold Stare and then just completely beef it? Like,
Yeah.
But the big thing that I was curious going into was Swamp Palace, because there was still a lot of overworld stuff I could do. Like I still have my tracker up actually, and like there's just so many like overworld locations that Ether just could have been at.
Yeah.
But I decided I'd go into Swamp Palace because one, Swamp Palace is 6 locations, and it was also my third pendant, so it would have also opened up Pedestal.
Right.
Locklen did check pedestal when he was doing Skull Woods at about the 220 mark. And yeah, unfortunately, it was just a little piece of love in this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, from our perspective of viewers, I think besides Swamp Palace, the only check we hadn't seen was Bombos Tablet
Okay.
at the time you went in.
Yeah, everything else had been accounted for as far as major items. And, like that was like the one thing that probably would have saved Locklen at that point, was because he had the Book of Medora, so he probably if Ether didn't turn up in Swamp Palace, that might have given him a bit. I don't know if it would have been a decisive edge, but it might have been enough to make this really close.
Yeah, if either had been on Bombos Tablet or even Ether Tablet, it probably would have been a long time until I found it, because just with the overworld checks that I had available, Agina's Cave would have been fairly low on my priority list.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Ether Tablet ended up being the last sword upgrade.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just about to ask, because I after I finished, I pulled up the restream just to see where Locklen was at, and I noticed that he has the level 4 sword right now. So I was about to ask where he found that.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
actually checked the Ether Tablet before he got a sword, I think.
Oh wow!
Yeah. he did that at about the 205 mark because he went to Tower of Hera. That was his sixth boss. Was
And he
Tower of
didn't even
Hera.
have a sword yet at that point.
No.
Wow.
His
Yeah,
first
his
sword.
sword was Spike Cave.
Wow.
Spike
That's
Ca-
crazy.
Spike-
I
Spike
think that
Cave
was my
for-
tempered sword.
Yes, yeah, it was for you it was Ice, then K45, then Spike Cave.
Huh.
So yeah, it's like the general routing differences were on full display tonight, and it was really quite interesting because both of you went in very different directions, and both of you were getting your choices validated, which doesn't always happen. Usually, it's fairly one-sided, but tonight it was everything. Everything came up with something.
Yeah, I really enjoy seeds like this. Just because, like, even though I know, like, that's randomizer, like, to go places and get absolutely nothing, like, there's
Yeah.
nothing more demoralizing than just doing, like, 2 or 3 dungeons in a row and finding no progression whatsoever, like, nothing that leads you to a new location.
Right.
Like, so I did appreciate that this seed kind of like it didn't give you everything at once, but it kind of slowly led you from place to place, which was really nice. Like I enjoy seeds like this.
Yeah, 'cause
It's nothing compared to my first race of the tournament where I was in what I assumed was go mode at 1 hour and 20 minutes. My last item was gravity suit, and the only way I would not be in go mode was if the Ganon's Tower big key was right side. And it just so happened that it was, but the red cane was in Ganon's Tower.
Oh, wow.
I don't know where the fire rod was, but I, on the fly, relearned how to do the right side torch room without fire rod, using a bomb jump to get over to the last torch, which was fun. I would like to have a seed like that again in the future, but it was also a little stressful to not know if I was in go mode while I was go mode clearing like 5 crystal dungeons. Like it was a huge gamble.
Yeah, and I think other than the flute on the purple chest, most of the progression items ended up being in areas you were well, and obviously the Thieves Hookshot in Thieves Town. It was mostly stuff where you would be going to look for, to do progression anyway.
Right. Well, it looks like Locklen might be going for a stand-up glitch as well.
Yep, looks like it.
So I didn't know about unequipping Varia there to make it easier. That's something I'll have to remember for my next race.
yeah, it doubles the damage if you take off one of the suits. But yeah, it's like were you thinking this was going to be like a sub 230 just based on the way you were getting all the good stuff early?
Ooh, sub 230, no. Just because I know, like, even with a very generous seed, sub 230 is pretty rare, I feel like.
The way the items were coming out, I mean, it was like what aren't you going to get?
Yeah. There was quite a while where I thought sub 3 was going to be possible, and it was pretty close to that for me.
Yeah.
But
if it hadn't if the ether had been in Turtle Rock, definitely would have been sub 3.
oh, for sure. I'm just glad it was in Swamp and that I wasn't going around and trying to last location ether.
So
Yeah, that.
for-
And Locklen is entering into Mother Brain 3. Just
Down
need to get the
goes.
last shots in.
Problem. There it goes. So see if Locklen in a last act of defiance will save the animals.
Oh, he's gotta save the animals, right?
No.
I did do one thing for the viewers. I did check validation chest.
Yeah.
I felt like I owed that to the people.
It's only an extra second and a half, so if
Yeah,
that,
exactly. I was hoping for maybe like gold sword, but obviously, validation chest is not ether tablet.
Yeah. All right. So who is it? Your next match going to be up against?
If I remember correctly, it's cross product.
It's cross product, yeah.
Okay. Well, that should be another interesting race.
Yeah. I don't know cross product very well as a runner. I just know him as the guy that made a tracker that a lot of people have used.
He's very accomplished at both games.
Yeah.
So this should be a very good match, I think. But you know.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I mean, I didn't think I would be here right now, but oh, there he goes. Heck yeah. Maybe he'll throw us a curveball and go in there, but actually kill the animals. Oh, nope. He
Tease
opened the door.
animal. Yeah.
Tease the animal.
So he's getting the canon ending, I suppose, saving those animals.
Yeah, I guess they are in Metroid Fusion. What a shame.
Yeah. Well, they serve an important role. But get out the GGs for Locklen, who was finished with an official SRL time of 3 hours, 20 minutes, 31 seconds.
Yeah, GG to Locklen.
Yep, GG. And it does look like Locklen is joining us. GG's.
GG, Locklen.
What a seed.
Yeah, no kidding.
It felt real bad not even having a sword and reading the ether tablet. It's like, hey, this has a sword on it. Well, I can't get that if I don't have a master.
Well,
yeah, they told me about that, Locklen.
yeah, that the seed was giving you everything except swords. So
At one point, I was wondering if both tablets and the pedestal were all going to have swords.
wouldn't have put it past them. Wouldn't have put it past them at that point, but luckily it didn't turn out to be that way.
It was very interesting at one point. Between the two of you, we were looking, it's like, okay, we need all 3 medallions, swords, and the ice rod. And that was all between the two of you that was needed for go mode.
I know I hit myself early on when I last locationed my speed booster as well.
Well,
And so congratulations to ninjembro. Good luck against cross product.
Thank you. This was definitely a. As I was talking with them until you finished, like this was definitely an interesting seed.
Yeah, and what we discussed is both of you actually took very different routes and were completely valid in your routing, as it turned out. Because you had done the early wreck ship play and all of that, and that turned out to be correct, and gave you some progress. And I think ultimately it was the Ice Palace delay is probably what ended up kind of separating you two down the stretch.
I can see that.
Yeah. But overall, no, it was a very entertaining seed too. Very close for really a large chunk of it, and the way you guys ended up at the same spot was actually quite interesting. So, any thoughts on the seed and your overall
Hooray for
performance?
acquired items and all 3 pendant dungeons.
Yeah, the pendant dungeon strike again.
Well, I'll say this is my only seat this tournament where it wasn't do Sphere Zero, do all of Super Metroid, and then finish Link to the Past. This is my least favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, I was saying to them before you got here that, like, one thing I did really appreciate about the seed was just the fact that, like, it flowed pretty well. Like, almost anywhere you went gave you something to, like, chase in one or the other game.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoy in a randomizer seed. Like, I enjoy that, like, well, should I go do this or should I go do that? Versus, like, oh, well, which one of these 17 locations that I have left is going to have the one item that I need?
That's how I was feeling regarding the Ether thing.
Yeah. That was my go mode as well, but I happened to get pretty lucky by going to Swamp Palace, fortunately.
Yeah, because
So all I had left was Checkerboard, Cave, and a couple checks in Meridia.
yeah, and yeah, you had cleared out a lot more of the overworld, and I'm looking at your collected items. You had 21 more collected items than in Ninjembro, and most of that was overworld checks in Hyrule, Light and Dark World.
Well, it's a randomizer. It happens.
Yeah.
Any one of those things could have been the Ether Medallion, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I got worried for a while that Ether Medallion would have just been like a Sphere 1 check, like, because I still had a lot of Sphere 1 locations like Ice Rod.
Did you ever get the book?
No, I never got the book.
Oh.
Yeah,
I had completely forgotten that I hadn't done Front of Escape, so like, okay, Agony is my only check. What's here? Oh, it's the book. What if I need is in desert? And I didn't find it. I'm like, what did I not do? I'm like, oh, escape.
and actually, that early book kind of helped vault you to an early lead on the bosses. You were up for really about half the race as a result of that, because you were able to do desert and you did Fantoon, and you were able to really start putting a lot of that together. And you did Lower Norfair a lot sooner than in Gembro, and
I knew it wasn't in Logic yet, but I knew I could do it.
right. And yeah, especially once you grab the flute from Purple Chest, like, well, we're doing that.
Yeah, when I got that flute, I was very ready to go into Swamp Palace as soon as I was done Purple Chest, and then I got the flute, and I was like, Swamp Palace can wait for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, I was actually in a similar position.
Well, it's like, if it were a crystal, this would be a very different conversation. But
for
such
sure.
it is.
But when it's a pendant,
I was like, if it were a crystal, like, I think the resistance to go into swamp would have disappeared. So, but such as it is. Any final thoughts before we let you go?
no, it's been a fun tournament.
Yeah.
All right.
Same, definitely been fun. GG's again, Locklen. And thank you guys for the commentary and to the tracker.
Yes, thanks to you as well.
do give our runners, once again, do give them a follow if you haven't already, and give us a follow if you're so inclined. But thanks all for watching. Good luck to ninjembro in the second round match against Cross Product. Should be a very good one.
Thank you.
Real quick, I know we've got some matches on the docket on the next couple of days. Tomorrow, no restream confirmed yet, but at 8:10 Eastern, we have Ancient Gamer versus the Blue Crayon at 8:10, and 9:10 is 64-bit Link versus Hatch 78. Be a couple of very good matches, so thanks all for watching, and we'll see you all again probably tomorrow.